911 with the address.
Yeah. Hi. Listen.
What's going on?
My girlfriend's daughter is killed. Yeah.
What's going on there?
My girlfriend, I'm sorry, my daughter's head off.
What you're about to hear is unimaginable. This is Heidi Knoll after discovering her 22-year-old daughter, Lise Dodd, inside her own apartment. She was just 1 month away from giving birth and just one step away from ensuring her killer could never harm her or her baby. That call is almost impossible to process. Heidi had walked into the apartment and stumbled upon a scene no one should ever endure. Today, we're pulling apart every detail, from the neighbor who heard the walls shake to the CCTV that caught the killer leaving with a laundry basket. Until you see the truth the way the investigators did, the reveal will leave you sick. This is a heartbreaking case of Lise Dodd. Just after midnight on June 8, 2022, in Alton, Illinois, a security camera captured a man walking casually across the frame. He carried a white laundry basket. At first glance, it looked like nothing, maybe just another late-night trip to the dumpster. But neighbors would later remember the chilling detail. His clothes were different from earlier that night, and his face was covered. No one realized what was inside, not the neighbors, not the workers who would arrive the next morning. Still, one construction worker noticed enough to tell the police later.
When I took it to the dumpster, there's a lot of clothes and shit in there all stowed all over, laundry basket, and there was a couple pair of shoes.
The shoes were only the beginning. Inside was also a serrated knife, smeared with blood across the blade and handle. Even the shoes were spattered.
Red. They had blood on them. They all look like females.
Hours would pass before anybody realized the truth. And when they finally connected the dots, something far worse emerged. Something Heidi herself discovered in her daughter's apartment. Even the dispatcher struggled to process her words. Heidi had unlocked her daughter's door after 15 hours of silence, and within minutes was outside, hyperventilated, unable to stay inside.
911 with the address.
Yeah. Hi. Listen.
What's going on?
My girlfriend's daughter is killed. Yeah.
What's going on there?
My girlfriend, I'm sorry, my daughter's head off.
When officers arrived, she handed them the key without saying anything. Lise Dodd had been decapitated, 8 months pregnant with a baby she lovingly called Bean. And somehow, even worse, her head was nowhere in the apartment. The killer had desecrated her, carrying part of her away, leaving investigators with a crime scene that was almost too much to comprehend.
He wasn't kidding.
Can we go sit on these front porch steps, though? Okay.
He's a woman, listen. And then there wasn't a head. Please find her head.
And while Heidi begged, more neighbors began to step forward with accounts of what they had heard the night before. Details would soon make everything clearer and even more horrific. The neighbors froze, listening as the sound of a body being struck over and over shook the walls.
I heard like muffled yelling, like not screaming, but yelling in a way, kind of like in pain. Like you just like snipped your finger with a scissor. It started shaking and we're like, okay, they must be fighting or something. Probably, I really don't know other than like chopping wood.
Okay.
All of a sudden, the screaming got really, really loud and really intense.
Later that night, worried but unsure, one neighbor texted the landlord. It read, "Hey, I don't know what to do. We got home and as soon as we walked in, we started feeling thumps. Then someone started screaming for like 5 minutes straight. It stopped. Then the thumping started again. The door upstairs was cracked open. If it happens again, I'll call the cops." They never heard it again, not because peace had returned, but because Lise was already gone. Before the horror, Lisa's life was defined by kindness. Born in Alton in 1999, she was a kind of person who gave more than she ever took. At just 10 years old, instead of birthday presents, she asked friends to donate to an animal shelter. Her mother remembers the joy she carried into adulthood. By 2017, Lise had graduated high school and was working at Dairy Queen, saving up for classes to follow her mother into the medical field. But her focus shifted when she became pregnant in 2022. The family affectionately called her unborn baby Bean. Invitations for the baby shower had just gone out. She hadn't even chosen a name yet because she thought she had more time. Heartbreakingly, she was already expecting the worst. She just wasn't fast enough to escape. Lisa's relationship with DeAndre Holloway had been volatile from the beginning. They bounced between homes, even living in a tent at one point. The fighting was constant. Everyone could see that Lisa was afraid of him. Still, she kept hoping he would change. She believed his false promises. Her mother wasn't so convinced. Her boss at Dairy Queen also saw the signs.
Little black eyes when she would come in. When she first started, she would make excuses that her dog had jumped up and hit her. Asked her about it, and she said they had gotten in an argument. Eventually, after the excuses about the dog and things like that stopped, she was honest about it.
The violence escalated fast. In 2021, she was hospitalized with a broken nose and 2 black eyes. In a desperate text to her boss, she admitted, "My boyfriend beat me again. I had to go to my mum's. They want me to stay somewhere safe because he's threatened to harm us." But as quickly as she ran, she always returned. Friends, co-workers, and family saw the cycle. Bruises, apologies, and more bruises. Even when people offered to call 911, she begged them not to. The last time she let DeAndre back into her life, it set the stage for the final night. On June the 7th, DeAndre vanished. He left his phone, some clothes, and disappeared without explanation. Heavily pregnant and exhausted, Lise texted her mum in despair. "You think he'd just leave like this? Think I got left?" Her mum tried to comfort her, framing it as an escape from the cycle. If this is how it's meant to happen, at least it's not violent. But Lise didn't see it that way. Instead, she replied, "I broke a razor and cut my leg because I told him I was just going to hurt myself." The mum says, "Why?" Lise said, "Because I just can't get it right." These were the words of a young woman pushed to her breaking point by years of abuse. DeAndre was the only boyfriend she had ever known. Until the day she died, she blamed herself for his violence. The next morning, she tried to keep her routine, washing her work clothes, texting her mum that something felt wrong. That night, his uncle returned him to her. At 9:11 p.m., CCTV captured Lise and DeAndre walking into the apartment. From the car, she sent her final message. I'm still trying to figure it out. 10 hours later, Heidi would find her daughter dead. But DeAndre wasn't gone. Just before midnight, CCTV caught him leaving again, this time carrying a white laundry basket. Inside was Lisa's severed head. He dumped it like trash in a construction dumpster. By morning, his half-sister found him cutting off his dreadlocks.
My sister said around 2:30 in the morning that he's like banging on the door and stuff, and he's like pacing and like acting nervous.
Word.
And asked somebody who was cutting his hair off, and he just said a fresh start.
But it wasn't a fresh start. It was a cover-up, stripping away his appearance, trying to walk away from what he had done. And when he showed up at his grandmother's house, the horror deepened. He wasn't just hiding. He was carrying pieces of Lisa's life with him. Her ID, her bank card, the things she needed to exist in the world were now in his pocket.
And I said, "Well, why you got her debit card?"
Yeah.
And license,
It proved something investigators already feared. He hadn't only killed her, he had desecrated her memory, treating her belongings like trophies or loot. To walk into his family home carrying them like nothing happened showed just how twisted and detached from reality he really was. On June 10, 2022, Gillespie police arrested DeAndre for cannabis. They didn't yet realize they had Lisa's killer. Only when he was moved to jail did the threats become explicit. He told officers, "I'll cut your head off." Investigators soon connected him to the missing head.
Don't do that! Don't do that!
But justice stalled. Declared unfit for trial, he was sent to a state hospital. His stepfather spoke out.
Not going to deny that what happened was an extreme act of evil. We knew he was capable of violence, but we never saw this. We've been trying to get help for him for at least 3 years.
The delays dragged on. He disrupted court, refused hearings, had to be dragged out of his cell. Finally, in 2024, he entered a guilty plea. And in January 2025, he was sentenced to 60 years. On the day that should have been balloons and cake, the family held a memorial.
He admitted his guilt. He is incarcerated long enough that he can't hurt anyone else.
and also that Lisa's life was acknowledged, that he had taken it, and also Baby Bean. She had a lot of things on the horizon that she was looking forward to, and the actions of this one person ended those dreams for her. And
Heidi stood in court and spoke for her daughter and unborn grandchild. Later, she shared a quote that now feels prophetic. After a while, you learn the difference between holding a hand and chaining a soul. You learn kisses aren't contracts and presents aren't promises. All the warning signs were there. The bruises, the hospital visits, the text to her family and friends. Everyone saw the danger. Lise saw it too. But she clung to the hope that he would change. The night before he killed her, she still wanted him to come home. She trusted him, and that is the cruelest truth. Thanks for watching another episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It keeps you up to date with all of the latest episodes that come out. Stay well, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.